In today's Fox Local Book Club, we're going to meet Lucy Delgado, a twice-divorced professional wedding saboteur hired by a charming man named Anders to fake date into his family circle and derail his sister's nuptials. Wow. Romance author Ela Lee took a unique path to romantic comedy, transitioning from studying astrophysics to working in New York City publishing. And then comedy icon Mindy Kaling published her work calling How to Ruin a Wedding, the kind of book that makes you laugh so hard you snort in public. Wow, that's a good review. Ela is joining us now on the Fox Local Book Club. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So Lucy is such an unforgettable protagonist, a twice-divorced professional wedding saboteur. I didn't even know that was, a job. Where did the idea of a wedding wreck-for-hire expert come from?
I love the Y2K classic rom-coms that came with really outrageous premise, but the chemistry between the love interests were so real that you kind of just accepted it. Like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days was a really big inspiration. The Wedding Planner 27 Dresses. I wanted something that would stand out, and I played with the foundation of it being centered around a wedding because that's one of the most romantic moments in people's lives. And I thought, what if someone was running around ruining them as a job? And so that's how How to Ruin a Wedding was born.
So tell us a little bit more about the book.
How to Ruin a Wedding is a romance at its core, where two burned people find real love for each other, but it's also much more. It's about found family, about sisterhood, and my favorite part, dogs. Lucy became a wedding crasher to help pay for her dream, which is Save a Paw, this shelter in New York that helped save her childhood dog. So you're going to get some romance, some steaminess, some warmth, and lots of fun and hijinks here.
So how did you come to be published by Mindy Kaling's new book line?
Long story short, my agent and the team sent the book over to Minnie's team, and she said she would love to have it. And then I passed out. I sent it to the heavens. I heard birds chirping. I felt the maximum amount of joy any human could feel. And then I just sent it back to Earth, and we accepted the offer, of course. And I immediately started bragging to everyone who knew me. So I'm just so grateful to her for having great taste.
Yes, indeed. And, your background, fascinating to me. Let's talk about how you went from studying astrophysics, then skipping to working in publishing, and now writing best-selling romance novels.
I know those sound vastly different from each other, but for me, they're all actually connected to my love of storytelling. And so for me, what's the biggest, most mysterious story of all time? And I think that's the story of our universe. And I wanted to uncover these chapters that had been written, but humans simply couldn't decipher it yet. And I work in publishing, but I work in marketing. And so I'm basically writing a story to consumers on why they would like certain books. And as an author, of course, I'm writing romance for people to enjoy. So all roads in my life have been connected by this thread of storytelling in some way.
Now, I know that you write both young adult and adult. How are those two audiences different?
The lens in which they see the world is really different regarding the stakes themselves in stories. So for Lucy in How to Ruin a Wedding, she fears losing her home. She can't find a job. And as adults, we know these things are really massive worries. But for a teenager, what's the worst thing in the world? Getting a bad grade, their crush not liking them back, or figuring out where to go to college. Now, is a bad grade in the grand scheme of things life-altering? Maybe not. But for a teen, those stakes are everything to them. And so writing what matters to them and how they view the world is really, really different.
So what's next for you? What are you working on now?
Next up, I have a young adult novel titled Legally Yours, Violet Lopez, and that comes out this October. And hopefully soon, I can announce another adult romance that will sit very, very nicely beside How to Ruin a Wedding.
Oh, that sounds like a movie, too. So I've got my fingers crossed for you that How to Ruin a Wedding becomes something on Netflix or one of those things.
Yeah.
How can people follow you?
They can find me at Elba L. Luce or on my website, elbaluce.com.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Elba, on the Fox Local Book Club.
Thank you.